Hello and welcome to Investment Trends, brought to you with the compliments of the Zambia Development Agency and ZNBC. On the show today, we are hosting Barclays Bank, and we are discussing, among other topics, the initiative that they've gone into with ZDA, and this initiative looks at assisting in the development of entrepreneurship skills for the youth in Zambia. This particular initiative is meant to equip university and college graduates with work and entrepreneurship skills to enable them build the skills they need in order for them to make a smooth transition in the job market. I'm very privileged to be joined by the Managing Director of Barclays Bank, Zambia, Madam Mizinga Melu. Hello.
Hi, Chilufia.
Good to have you on the show.
Pleased to meet you.
How is Barclays Bank?
We're doing fine.
Okay.
We continue to lead.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
You're leading in the right direction, definitely.
Right.
Getting together with ZDA, coming up
Right.
with this project that will help young people in Zambia. I think the biggest challenge has always been money for young people.
Yes, yeah. So look, I mean, it's been about money, but it's also been about the skills development. I think that's been some of the big challenges the young people are facing today. So what ZDA and Barclays decided to do last year was to come into a partnership where we agreed that we're going to focus on enterprise development. Again, it was under our umbrella of shared growth.
Okay.
You know, as Barclays, we believe that we grow and we want the communities to grow. And we have a number of different pillars, which we'll talk about a little later. But with ZDA, we decided that skills development was very important, especially for the youth.
Yeah.
You know, it was important for us to also, you know, really just make sure that we promote them as entrepreneurs. That was equally important as well. So we came together and, you know, spent quite a bit of money there, 772, you know, have 722,000, you know, kwacha just in 1 year last year. And we've been able to develop about 500 youth. So it's been something that, you know, both, you know, ourselves and ZDA are very excited about. We're trying to make a difference in our own very small way.
Okay. I was going to ask you to say what has, you know, come out of that. What achievements have you scored? 500 youths? That's amazing.
About 500
Is it going to
youth.
be in Lusaka only?
Yes, Lusaka. For now, we started in Lusaka, and you know, we're hoping at some point we can go beyond Lusaka, you know, as well. But it's about how do you give them skills? You know, for example, ZDA has some exciting programs where they are working, you know, on really making leather be more than just leather. You know, how do they really have, you know, some exciting end products? So we partnered with them and really teaching youth how to be empowered by using leather. So the end product is them feeling totally empowered, being able to start their own businesses, and ZDA follows them through and you know, just make sure that it's not a one-off, but it's something that they actually, you know, can use to start their own businesses. So it's quite good, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the partnership with ZDA, why ZDA? Why couldn't you pick some other entity?
Yeah, you know, whenever we are thinking of partnerships as Barclays, it's important to think of partners that, number one, are accountable.
Okay.
Number two, they will do what they say they will do. And it's not just a story. You know, when they say, you know, you give us the money, we'll do what we said we will do. So although this was wholly funded by Barclays, I think from a ZDA point of view, we just knew that they had a good track record of being able to deliver. They've done some exciting programs that we're able to look through, and they've got a very good, you know, enterprise development program. So for us, ZDA was the right partner, who we knew that they will really focus on the skills development. They've already identified a number of youth in the countries. And even when we're working with a number of clients, including the NGOs that we're working with, you know, they do ask us for the right partners who will help them in that enterprise development. And ZDA, for us, is top on the list. So that's why we partnered with them. We just knew that they'll do what they say they will do for the youth.
All right.
And they've done that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Does this project have a timeline? How long will it go on for?
Look, I mean, with ZDA, initially we signed for 1 year. We have now been reviewing the success factors, which, you know, I've been talking about, and it's something that we'll continue to renew to say how do we continue working with them, whether it's beyond Lusaka, like you rightly ask. So yes, we agree that we'll do it for a year initially, but we are now reviewing it as we speak with ZDA, you know, to say how do we take this beyond the year. So we should be able to let you know once we agree and we sign up.
All right. And in terms of starting another one, for example, do you have any future plans continuing with working with ZDA?
Okay, so with ZDA, look, our plans are, they've demonstrated that they can do it in Lusaka. And for us, we don't want it to just be about Lusaka. It's about how can we take it to the Copper Belt, for example, and look for the youth there, and continue to look at other, sectors beyond leather, as well. I think that's important for us. And like I say, it's something that we continue to develop and discuss with ZDA. And, they've got a new managing director now, and we've met him, we've had excellent conversations, and we have agreed that the ZDA partnership should continue. ZDA is doing a lot of good things for the investors, but even for local investors, how do we as Barclays partner with them in promoting all these initiatives that they're doing?
Right.
So yeah, so the partnership will continue.
All right. Speaking of partnerships,
Yeah.
I know of the Barclays Shared Growth Citizenship Agenda.
Right.
What is this all about?
Look, I mean, this was started about 3 years ago, and it's actually an Africa-wide group initiative.
Okay.
And our view was, as a bank, we continue to do very well. But if we're just doing very well and it ends at Barclays, then it's not good enough. We should grow, and the community should grow. And as the community grows, the community should also prosper. The people should also prosper. So it's about what's important for the people. And we realized that, there are 3 key pillars which were really important. I think number 1, just being able to give them financial inclusion was important.
Okay.
Like you rightly say, the access to finance is critical. The access to the skills is important. That was another pillar that we looked at, the skills development. And under the skills development, we looked at ready to work.
Okay.
And we've done that with ZDA as well, by the way. So under the ready to work agenda is how do we go in the different schools and teach, the young children what it means to write a CV. Because a lot of people want to, get a job. And, we always train our children that you get a job when you grow up. But then we don't train them how to write a CV. We don't train them how to look for career choices. So that's what Ready to Work is all about. So we really do a lot of that. But the other thing is enterprise development. How do we, and we've partnered not only with ZDA but with Nyamoka Zambia as well.
Okay.
Where we're also training the SMEs in particular on, yes, access to finance is important, but it's also important for us to provide financial literacy. How to write a bankable proposal, for example. SME continues to do very well in Zambia, but the potential is huge for us to do even better. And the only way we can do that is if we train people what financial inclusion is, what financial literacy is, how to write a bankable proposal.
Yes.
And it's not just the youth, but it's also the SMEs as well. So we partnered last year with Nyamoka Zambia to be able to do that. So under shared growth, we were able to, spend about 7 million kwacha last year. And we reached over 2,000 youth just by doing that. So it's been actually quite great.
Fantastic. What else is Barclays doing to ensure that you continue on to support financial literacy, yes, but enterprise development as well? You've mentioned working with and partnering with Nyamuka Zambia, the impact that this has had.
Yes.
And do you also have sort of follow-up programs to just see how this was our baby and it has moved to this stage?
Yes. So, which is why partnerships tend to be very important for us, because we know that, as a bank, we can have a bit of money to spend on this, and we do, put quite a bit of budget on that. But bringing partnerships on board, we are guaranteed that even the follow-ups will make sense. They will do the right things. And again, going back to ZDA, which is exactly why we got ZDA on board, because we knew that they will also follow up. But we also take a very keen interest. It's not just about dishing out money, but it's also about, for example, under the Nyamuka Zambia partnership that we've had, that we've been working with over the last 2 years, it's just to see how many entrepreneurs have been able to develop and start real businesses that can stand up and testify that because of the money Barclays gave us, we have been able to start our business, and this is where we are.
Right.
This year at some point we'll be launching what we're going to be doing with Zicta, and now we are going the digital route.
Okay.
Yeah, because as a country, the president has been talking about the digital agenda. So our view is, how do we work with consciously encouraging the youth that the digital agenda is important, and letting them run competitions where they can start their own businesses that are relevant to the digital agenda. So that's something that we'll also be working on.
Fantastic. All right, so recently, 2017, Barclays recently published financial results that indicated that the bank is performing really well.
Yeah.
Really, really well.
Really well.
Number one.
We are so excited and grateful to our clients.
And people are looking at you right now thinking, okay, so what is the secret to leading such a successful organization, to leading an organization to #1 spot?
Look, firstly, we want to say thank you to our customers, because we would not have managed to achieve what we did without their support. We've had a lot of loyal clients who have been with us for a while, for many, many years, over 100 years that we have been in the country. But it's about, how do we look at play in the different sectors?
Right.
And that was for us the #1. Our strategy is actually quite simple. We want to be the leading bank by being able to participate in the agriculture sector, in the manufacturing sector, the energy sector, being able to work with the SMEs and promote financial inclusion. That is what it's all about, being able to put money behind that. So we made a commitment that we'll be able to do 3.3 billion kwacha behind these sectors.
Okay.
Just being able to give the various facilities and solutions that our customers are looking for. So we also look at the value chain. If you look at the mining sector, the mining continues to do very well, but including the SMEs that supply to the mines. How do we focus on them as well? So we've been able to look at solutions like distributor finance, where it's not just about the big corporates, because sometimes as banks we're criticized that we're looking at the big corporates, but forgetting the small people.
So Soweto market has quite a lot of those.
Yes, and that's what we continue to do, and there's a lot of opportunity out there. But we also looked at the digital agenda. That was another big investment that we put in. We put in about 25 million kwacha in the digital agenda. Again, what that means was, the branches are important, and we'll continue to serve you through our branches. But what about beyond that? How can you sit in the studio, Chilufya, and still be able to send money to your mom without necessarily, leaving the time here and say, okay, I have to rush to a bank? We believe it's important to do that. And there are customers who will say, you know what, I just want to speak to my teller at the bank. But there are many customers where we're trying to make it efficient for you to do banking at your doorstep. To do banking in the comfort of your bed. So that's what we have been investing in, to be able to pay your bills, whether it's MultiChoice or Zesco, from the comfort of your bed. So we invested a lot of money on that, and we realized that we were able to reach a lot more clients. So financial inclusion before was quite a challenge for us when we were depending on brick and mortar. But when we realized that everybody, well, not everybody, the majority of Zambians would have a mobile phone. So how do we put banking on their mobile phone? And that's the partnership that we have been working on.
Right. Which is, of course, a new wave. Like everybody, like you said, has a phone and is able to at least transact on the phone.
Yes, I know. Just dial *229# and you've got the menu there.
Yes.
You can send money via wallet using the different telcos that we've partnered. You can pay your bills, you can pay your workers, and you can just buy somebody a gift.
Voila, done.
Let's
talk about how you're maybe helping young people who are just starting a business. They come through to Barclays and they say, I want a loan. I need a loan. And the story has always been, you need to have this, you need to have that, you need to have a car, you need to have a house, you need to... What systems have you put in place to make it easier for the young entrepreneur out there? And we have so many now. So many young people in fashion, in farming, so many young people out there looking for loans.
So what we have done is, look, Chifa, the truth of the matter is, this agenda is something that it's hard to declare victory because it is the youth, you know, in Zambia, the population is more than the adults. You know, if I look at our bank, 70% of the team are millennials, and they are less than 35. So when you talk about youth, if you have to take Barclays as an example, the country has a lot of youth. And so it is a journey which we all have to continue working on. So what we have done, for example, is that we've got an account where we realize that these guys will not be able to have a minimum balance, where we've actually removed the minimum balance, where we've said no fees. So you know, you can withdraw at an ATM, and you can keep no minimum balance, and you can still have an account, and which you call an account. So we've tried to make it as simple as possible for them to actually access the bank. Yeah, because even being able to access the bank sometimes tends to be a problem. And beyond that, then that's when now we bring in the partnerships like we have done with ZDA or Nyamuka Zambia, or the Zicta relationship, which we'll be launching this year, and say, how do we empower them like that? Yeah, but even that, we have a number of products, I don't want to go into the sales mode, but we have a lot of products which they can then use to actually empower and develop themselves.
But do you think the banks in Zambia are doing enough, are doing justice for the youth and the women in this country?
Look, there's a lot that we can all still do. I think that's the reality. You know, I think as Barclays, we have started the journey where we are on the right track. We have put the money, we've invested about 7 million kwacha, like I've said. We've had partnerships with ZDA, 772,000 kwacha. Is that enough? It's a start. It's a start. Are we going to do even more? Yes. And what are we doing? We're also looking at the football club, for the Premier Club. The only Premier, I've learned to be a football fan actually, but we've actually, we're actually the only sponsors of the only Premier Cup in the country. And with that, we are also reaching a lot of youth in just being able, to allow them, to get excited. And in the process, we do empower quite a lot of them, through football. So even that is a way of saying, let's identify who the stars are. And yes, it's okay to start a business, but you can also do it through sport. And that's what the Barclays Premier Cup, entails to bring. So are we doing enough as banks? Speaking for Barclays, we have started the journey, but there's a lot we can still do. And we're excited. We look at it as an opportunity more than anything else.
Right. So you're considered as or known as a captain of the industry,
right?
Succeeding, excelling, and doing wonderfully.
Thank you.
What is the secret in doing what you're doing, in thriving where you are? There's people out there who are watching and thinking, this woman is amazing.
Well, you've
served at the African level,
that's right,
continental level. You've come back to Zambia, and here you are. What is your secret?
Look, I mean, number one, I just thank God, because God has given me some major opportunities to work in a number of different countries and still be able to come back home and serve. There's nothing as exciting as being able to serve in your own country. But at the end of the day, it's doing what you enjoy. If you do what you enjoy, you do it well. Because sometimes I actually don't realize I'm actually working, because you enjoy it so much that it becomes a way of life. And I always encourage people to do what they're good at, to identify what their strengths are. And once you identify your strengths, do what you're good at. Because then you put in an effort, but it's more you enjoy it. And when you enjoy it, you thrive. You just do it. So you thank God for it, and but you just play to your strength. We are all good at certain things, and we are all not good at many things. So just focus on what you're good at and do it well.
But in terms of challenges, from the continental experience that you've had compared to the one here in Zambia, could you say the challenges would be similar or different, or, sort of at the same level?
Look, I mean, at the regional level, I was obviously responsible for a number of countries. And you don't go deep into really, truly understanding them, because you're almost looking at them at a big picture level. But when you come into the country, you really go deeper into really truly understanding your clients,
Okay.
being able to serve them, being able to work on solutions. It's interesting when we put a strategy together. It's the clients, it's the team. I always say people first. And when you put that together and it works, and then you get exciting results like we did last year, where you come first, you know, in the market as a bank, then it's exciting. So they both have opportunities. But, you know, the country level is so exciting because you're actually growing a business and you can see the results, you know, as they happen. So we thank God for everything, right?
Right.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming through to the program.
Thank you
Ms.
very
Zinga.
much.
It's been an honor having
Thank you
you
very
on
much,
the show,
Rufia.
and I'm sure that our viewers at home have learned a lot from you.
Thank you very much. Real pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. That was our guest on the program, Barclays Bank Zambia Managing Director, Ms. Zinga Melu. This is where we end the show. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back next week. Same time, same channel. Bye-bye.